Well, Peter Ford is a former British ambassador to Syria, and he joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
There's a lot of tough talk on all sides here. I wonder where you think it will lead us.
Well, I greatly fear it will lead us to the edge of Armageddon. It's time to take a deep breath and consider where we've got ourselves into as a result mainly of hysteria and distortion. The worst case is that Trump does launch off with some very unwise multiple attacks on Syria. And given that Russian forces are deeply embedded with Syrian forces, in particular air defense, it's highly likely that scores of Russian soldiers will be killed. If anyone thinks that Russia will take that just lying down, I think they need to think again. Russian planes in the last 12 hours have been buzzing US destroyers in the eastern Mediterranean. Please, I think everybody needs to take a deep breath before something truly horrible occurs, affecting the security of us all, including in this country. We have forces in Syria. The government don't like to talk about this, but one was sadly killed a few days ago, revealing the extent of our existing military involvement in Syria. So at the very least, our own forces would be exposed to grave danger.
Indeed, it's not just the US president, though, who's appalled by what they've seen in terms of these pictures coming from Duma. We've had condemnation from President Macron, likewise from Prime Minister Theresa May too. If it isn't the sort of military action that you've just outlined there, what should be the response to this use of chemical weapons if it's proved?
The correct response is obviously, and I think a child could see this, to get inspectors onto the alleged site of the alleged offences. In fact, in the last few hours, Russia has offered to provide military escorts for inspectors from the recognised body in this field, the Organisation for the Prohibition of Chemical Warfare.
And if it's proved, however, then what? Because, of course, we know that Assad has form on this. We've had investigations previously, and there has been fairly conclusive proof that chemical agents have been used.
I don't think that Assad is in the least worried that the inspectors would find out his guilt, because he's probably not guilty, at least on this occasion. I mean, we have to engage our brains as well as our emotions here, not be stampeded by those videos which are described as being unverified, but which, by dint of being repeated over and over and over again, come to acquire a spurious credibility. We have to ask ourselves, what are the sources of the information on which we're in this stampede to war? They're twofold. And I'm sorry, but the media are falling down on the job in investigating this. The sources are the Syrian American Medical Society, which is a pro-Islamist propaganda outfit based in the United States.
So you're saying these pictures are you saying these pictures have been staged? Are you saying that people haven't died, that people haven't been affected?
Yes, in all probability, the incidents have been staged. Come on, we know how easy it is to fake images for the internet. Look at the images. Anybody could stage those. And then the second source is supposed to be so-called first responders. Who are the first responders? In this case, they are the White Helmets, which is another pro-Islamist jihadi propaganda outfit who on the ground...
This is an awful lot of effort to discredit Assad, though, isn't it?
Please let me finish this important point. The witnesses to these terrible events are people who themselves were involved in beheadings, literally picking up the body parts. And we choose to give credence to testimony from these alleged first responders.
But Assad's reputation is already very difficult. I'm trying to ask you a question to probe the point of what you're making.
You don't allow, the BBC does not allow questions of important detail to be addressed.
We have a short period of time. I'm trying to probe what you're saying. The point is that surely that Assad's reputation is already dented. What would be in the interests of these people to stage these events?
Is that not obvious? A child can see that the intention was to produce the hysteria and now the military action that we are on the point of taking, risking our own safety. What the jihadis have done is jerk our leash. And frankly, for one, I think it's pretty disgusting that we are allowing ourselves to have our own leash jerked by these Islamist fanatics. This is what's going on. And ask yourself, how has it profited Assad? Please engage your brain. Answer the question. How has Assad benefited from all this mayhem? In fact, it's rebounded against him. Why would he do such a thing when he was already winning? The battle for Eastern Ghouta was virtually over. Why would he choose this moment to do the one thing that was guaranteed to pluck defeat for him from the jaws of victory? Please.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. That's Peter Ford. He's a former British ambassador.